The Minister of Defence, Angie Motshega, says they're experiencing logistical challenges in bringing the first group of soldiers back home. In addressing the media at the Tempe military base out in Bloemfontein, Motshega said they are certain that they have boarded a plane which will then bring them back home. And this as about 250 soldiers were expected to arrive at the Air Force base in Bloemspruit at 12 midday.
We are delighted to announce to the people of our country that the first group, 249 of our troops who served in the vital mission, are due to arrive on South African soil from Tanzania today. It is worth noting that part of this meticulous withdrawal process includes the safe return of all our prime mission equipment, which is ongoing. As stated by the Chief of the South African National Defence Force during our last media briefing on this matter, he said we shall not leave even a pin behind. So all the necessary logistical support are continuing until the withdrawal is complete. We are fully aware that half of the work is done in terms of our prime mission equipment movement. Hence, we are working around the clock with our counterparts in the region to ensure that the process runs expeditiously with minimal logistical risks. And we do want to assure people of our country that we shall continue to keep them abreast of developments as the process unfolds. So the idea of seeing our soldiers in good spirits and we are genuinely excited that they are coming home today. It is also a very powerful expression of the steadfast commitment to defend the territory, integrity of our country and its people. Our main focus now is it's on prioritizing the standard procedures of demobilization. And this will include crucial psychosocial sessions, after which they will return to their respective units. Thereafter, will be reunited with their families.
All right, let's further unpack this now by welcoming Defence Analyst Mr. Dean Wingrin. Dean, it's always great to have you with us on SA Today. Welcome. So the troops are experiencing some sort of delays in getting back home. But after enduring conflict and uncertainty in the DRC. But of course, let's look forward to what they're saying around midnight or possibly tomorrow they might be here. It has taken a lot of efforts, Dean, I suppose, as well as money to get them back home through this phase repatriation. Should we be celebrating as a country, especially in particular the families of the soldiers?
Good afternoon, and yes, it certainly is reason for the soldiers to be very happy to be returned. They've been living for the last couple of months under very dire, difficult circumstances. So it's only understandable that they're very happy to be coming back, as well as their families to have them their family members returned. But the planning and the logistical issues, that just leaves me pretty much wordless as to and speechless as to the delays that have happened, and just the confusion surrounding the return of these soldiers. This has been planned since middle of end of March and middle of April. And for them to be returned, it was initially meant to be returned by the end of May. So I suppose it's understandable that tight deadline would be extended. But for the minister and for the Defence Force, right now, this afternoon, still saying to the country, we don't know when they're coming home, it might be tonight, it might be tomorrow, is really, really unfair to the soldiers who are waiting on board the aircraft, as well as the families waiting for the members to return home. And I'm sure the last I heard is that the aircraft actually did take off about an hour ago, and it will probably arrive in Bloemfontein shortly after 7:30 this evening. And for the sake of the poor soldiers and troops on board, I really hope they're not going to be displayed in front of the media. After spending time in the DRC waiting to be returned, I'm sure the last thing they want to do is form up on parade and before they can actually meet and be with their families and be debriefed.
No, you're very right there, Dean. I mean, we heard the minister there saying they will be getting some psychosocial support before actually being returned to their bases. But Dean, I'm sure you also caught an element of uncertainty there by the minister's statement. She also made reference to these logistical risks, right? And I want to ask, why is it then necessary to not just bring the troops back to South Africa straight from the DRC? Because we were assured, I'm sure I spoke to you about this, Dean, that Rwanda is currently on good terms now with South Africa. So there was no threats whether we used Rwanda or we came back straight from the DRC. So let's talk about that as well as the protocol in bringing back the troops in this way.
That's right. Well, after M23, the Rwandan-backed M23 rebel group took control of Goma, where a lot of our troops were based, and nearby Sake, where the headquarters of the mission is based. That was at the end of January, beginning of February. Goma airport was closed, and the rebel groups did not allow any aircraft to land there. And so South Africa had no option but to stay there. But at the end of March, when the agreement with the rebel groups, M23 and with Rwanda, that South Africa could withdraw its troops as long as with the Tanzanian and Malawian colleagues who are part of the SAMI DRC mission, it was agreed that the M23 would allow SAMI DRC to open the airport. And for one reason or another, that just didn't happen. And I think reality hit. And, middle of April, it was decided that, we can't fly the troops out. There's no other choice but to drive out through Rwanda into northern Tanzania and from there fly the troops home. And that includes the equipment as well, and the equipment would arrive via sea. So I think South Africa, Malawi, Tanzania had no choice but to extract their troops and equipment to northern Tanzania. And the fact that even at this very late stage, they couldn't even plan on what aircraft the troops would fly home on what airline. Initially, it was Air Tanzania. We heard the minister this afternoon say, oh, no, now they had to change to Kenyan Airways for a larger aircraft. And they didn't know, could the aircraft land at Bloemfontein, or maybe it had to go to Johannesburg. It could possibly land in Bloemfontein, but there's no ground support equipment and staircases for the aircraft, lots of confusion. And it now appears that it actually is the Air Tanzanian aircraft that is flying to Bloemfontein.
Yes, Dean. Yes, go ahead, Dean.
No, I was just saying, so, I would have expected a lot better planning, particularly as the chief of the Defence Force had published a book, I think it was last year, titled Planning is Everything. And unfortunately, I think planning has left them down this time.
All right, Dean, we're going to leave it there. I wanted to, go further, but unfortunately we're out of time. I wanted to then continue about what then is the future of the SANDF when we're talking about operational issues, as well as about some of those equipment that we understand was actually, in fact, in the DRC that wasn't even working. What happens now? But that's a conversation for another day. Dean, it's always great to speak to you. That is a defense analyst there, Mr. Dean Wingrin.